So we did this big special, had these wonderful voices talking about what the future might look like. Uh, it's one of the top infectious disease experts from Yale, uh, one of the top labor activists in the history of this country, Dolores Huerta, has a Presidential Medal of Freedom. Then Derek Johnson, who's the president of the NAACP, and Andrew Yang, and Nomi Prince, and Nicholas Thompson, who's editor-in-chief of Wired, and I learned from what they said, and I love those conversations. And at the end, as I heard them all out, where do I wind up on this? Look, part of it is just my nature, and part of it is the current situation. One, my nature is of eternal optimism, and so I always believe there's a way. But if you saw Endgame, sometimes there's only one out of thousands of possibilities that actually gets you to the right conclusion. And so I'm not under any illusion that it's going to be easy. Because as we heard in the conversations today, we are at a low point in almost everything in this country, whether it's unemployment, whether it's infectious disease, whether it's the state of the environment and how the U.S. is being counterproductive, going in the wrong direction, racial relations. There's some good news in that a lot of the different races are uniting together after George Floyd, but terrible news that we have a white supremacist in the White House who keeps saying one racist thing after another, and still the country is very much divided on all those issues. So now at this point, the good news that comes out of that is I think we can only go up. Okay, now look, there's a giant divide here. If in a couple of months we're going to find out if Trump or Biden's going to win. If Trump wins, then I'm going to keep it real with you. There's nothing but darkness ahead. And I don't say that as political machinations. I've told you when presidential elections are unimportant. I've told you when they are important. This one's the Mac Daddy of them all. Not because it's dark versus light. We don't have a great progressive in this race. Joe Biden's a very conservative Democrat. I am not enthused about him, nor will I be forced to be enthused about him. But the Democrats have found the perfect boogeyman. And the establishment has found the boogeyman it was looking for, and that is Donald Trump. And the boogeyman is real. And if he wins again, the environment is in epic danger. There's no question about that. His unbelievable incompetence endangers all of our lives. The economy is in danger. And most importantly, democracy and our form of government is in danger. I think all that stuff is super clear. And for God's sake, vote against them. Vote against them. Vote against them. I couldn't be any clearer about that. But when Joe Biden wins, if he wins, and I think he will, but a lot could happen in the next 2.5 months. But if he wins, he is not going to naturally do any of the right things. Massive change on the environment, increasing wages significantly, all the things that we care about, not just as progressives, but that is going to help the American people. So we must push him. We must. Almost everyone that came on here talked about how the government is broken and how they were excited to get Trump out, but that they were near positive that the next government would not do anything that the American people wants unless they were absolutely pushed to the wall. So what does that mean? That means that's our job to push them to the wall. And so the mainstream media hates that because they love the status quo. And they're backed up by multi-billion-dollar corporations. We're backed up by you guys. That's why we do tyt.com/go to raise money from you guys. That's why we do membership, tyt.com/join, to have our financial motives tied to your financial motives, and so that we're a team and we do this together. But a huge part of that is the politics of it. So if Biden wins, we must start the protest immediately. There is no way in the world that Democratic leadership is going to do the right thing of their own accord. We must push them on $15 minimum wage. They promised it. And I think that they could win the Senate. And if they do, they must pass it immediately. If they don't, there should be and more people surrounding the White House than there were under Trump. Why? Because Trump doesn't care. Biden could care, potentially could care. So get people around, get protests. There should be no quarter given. If he does not act on the environment, and significantly so, no quarter given. Surround the White House, surround every state capital, demand action. It is literally the only way to do it. Support progressives in primaries. And we must get money out of politics. If we do not get money out of politics, none of this is going to be possible. Those corporations are going to buy every single politician we have, and the media is already on their side. And then I could be optimistic all I want, but we're going to hit those conclusions that are not bright, and it will be arguably worse, because as time goes along, that corporate power accumulates in a way that gets harder and harder to fight back. So mount up, everybody. If Biden wins, we should be in the streets almost immediately. But if we are, I think he is susceptible to pressure, and I think we can win. And if we do, then the future is bright. Love you guys. See you tomorrow.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.